So there was this place in Staten Island called the Marina Cafe, and I used to go there all the time on the weekends. I used to go with my good buddy John, and his brother-in-law was the DJ there, Frankie. And he used to have karaoke night, so I would go there. I get totally messed up. I'd be singing, Billy Joel. Everybody would be, loving me. We'll all be having a great time. So this one particular night, we were drinking pitchers of red sangria. I mean, I must have drank between me and my friend like maybe five pitchers or more. I mean, and this was strong, man. We got messed up, man. I mean, I know you wouldn't think like you would get messed up with sangria, but for some reason, I mean, plus I'm doing shots. I don't know. I got totally messed up, man. So I went home that night, and you probably like, did you drive home? No, Frankie, the DJ who couldn't drink, he drove both me and John home. His brother-in-law, he wasn't drinking. He was doing his job. Long story short, I got home. I started feeling for the first time. I never felt this before, which turned out to be GERD. It turned out to be acid reflux. I never. This is the first time I ever felt it. I never forget this. It's like I was having trouble breathing. It was like I couldn't take like deep breaths, and I felt burning in my chest, like burning. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm going to go to the hospital. I said, something's not right. I can't breathe. I tell her I got burning. I said, so I started getting like really, like, I was like, getting a little bit like panicky, you understand? So I took a bottle of NyQuil, drinking. Like, I was getting nervous. I was having a heart attack because I don't know what's happening. I'm drinking a bottle of NyQuil. I told, give me a Xanax. She's like, you can't be mixing those. I said, just please, I'm freaking out here. I think I'm going to die. I took a Xanax. It's no joke, right? So can you imagine? I'm doing shots of alcohol, like tequila. I'm doing I could have died. It's really not a joke. I'm doing like pitchers and pitchers of sangria. I drank like half the bottle of NyQuil. I took a Xanax. So as you can imagine, I am completely toast at this point, burnt, crisp toast. I get to the hospital, I'm all messed up. I can't even like walk. I told the doctor, I'm like, look, I was in the emergency room. I got it. I'm like, look, man, I might be dying. I told him, he goes, what are you feeling? I have severe chest pains. It's burning. He goes, well, we're going to do an EKG. I said, okay. So I lied down. I never forget, man, this big, gigantic guy, like he must have weighed like 500 pounds. African American. I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but he was. He was just African American. He takes the EKG, and his face turned white. Like he looked at me like no joke. Like he was like this, and I'm like, is everything all right? This is after he got the results back of the EKG. He goes, I got to get the doctor. He goes, I'll be right back. Just stay calm. So now I'm really starting to freak out. I'm like, what's happening here? So I'm getting like anxiety, a little panicky. Next thing I know, the doctor, some Indian guy, like I don't even know his name, some Indian guy, he starts running with me like I'm in like a kind of stretcher, and he's like pushing it. He's like, we must immediately take you to get a heart operation. We have to do. I'm like, what the? It's like they're pulling. It's like I was like screaming, what's happening? What's happening? And he goes, it seems to us, according to your EKG readings, that you're having a heart attack. I think you have a blocked artery. I see the readings were terrible. I was like, oh my God. So I said to him, I said, listen. I told him, you don't understand. I took a lot of medication tonight. I said, maybe is it possible that the readings, because it's true, you know what I mean? Like just a simple, you want to laugh? If you even have a simple cup of coffee and then you do an EKG, it can give a false reading. Not only did I have a cup of coffee, I'm talking about I had 4 or 5 shots of tequila. I had pitchers of the sangria. I had a Xanax. I had a bottle of NyQuil. So I'm trying to tell you guys, listen, man, it's possible. It's false readings here. So he calms down. He's like, all right. He goes, look, I'm going to admit you. Stay overnight. We're going to monitor your heart all night. They connected all of this to monitor my heart. So whatever. I'm relaxing. I'm just trying to go to sleep. I was so drugged out. Now, I guess what happened was the nurse didn't know that I took all this other stuff. She didn't know I was on sangria. This is like out of a movie. This was out of like, you would never believe the shit that went down. So she just told me to take a pill because she saw in her chart that I had a panic attack, I had anxiety. She gave me a pill. She gave me Zoloft. Okay. Now, once again, this is on top of having, sangria, pitches and pitches of it, shots of tequila, what are Xanax, NyQuil, and now she's giving me a friggin' Zoloft. Okay. So 2 hours goes by. I am fucked up. I am effed up big time. Like my wife came to visit me. I couldn't even see her. I saw like so you remember Rocky when he was fighting Ivan Drago? He goes, I see three of them out there. Paulie says, hit the one in the middle. I saw three of my wife. Three. So I'm like, I'm trying to touch her. She's like, what are you doing? I was like I just wanted to grab a hand, to hold a hand. My hand was in like thin air. I couldn't see where she was. I was messed up. So I just collapse. I go to sleep. So that's that. Now here's the thing. I wake up. I think I died. I thought I went to heaven. Okay, it was like such an amazing, surreal experience. There was this beautiful, beautiful German Shepherd dog, and I didn't understand what was going on. He was licking me. He was licking my face. He's like licking me, and I wake up, and I'm like, beautiful dog, like I'm in heaven. I died, and I saw this lady. She was dressed up kind of like a nun. She was dressed up like a nun, not like. and I thought I'm looking at like Mother Mary, and I'm like, I'm in heaven. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in heaven. And the dog's looking at me, and she's like, how are you feeling, my son? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, where am I? Am I in heaven? Am I in heaven? She says, no, you're in the hospital. She said, they bring in these dogs to just, I guess, make people happy. People who are in the hospital, whether they're in serious or even mild conditions, these dogs come in, they lick you, you play with them, and they're just there to cheer you up. So I found out I was alive. So long story short, the doctor comes in and he says to me, well, actually, no, I'm sorry, correction. It was a new doctor. It was a female doctor, but she was following the reports of the Indian doctor. And she said, look, we checked your heart out. You're fine. They did the blood work. They checked the blood work, to see the enzyme levels, all that. They're like, you're okay. You definitely need to lose some weight. She told me. She says, but as of right now, you're okay. She goes, so we're going to release you. And but man, that was a scary experience, man. I thought I was finished. I thought it was all over for me.